Good morning, good afternoon, and good night to all of you around the world. I am Sir Whale. Let's get started, friends. Legend of Zelda The Wind Waker released in Japan on December 13th, 2002, followed by North America on March 24th, 2003, the EU on May 2nd, 2003, and Australia on May 7th, 2003. Ironically enough, my playthrough of this game happened on February 10th, 2023, almost 20 years to the date of this game releasing, which is absolutely comical because this game aged incredibly well. Comparatively to its predecessors, The Legend of Zelda, The Legend of Zelda 2, The Adventures of Link, The Legend of Zelda: A Link to the Past, The Legend of Zelda: Link's Awakening, The Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time, Legend of Zelda: Majora's Mask, Legend of Zelda: Oracle Seasons and Ages, and then finally, The Legend of Zelda: Wind Waker, which is where we're at now. Look at how this game aged, look at how it looks, look at its visuals, look at everything about it compared to everything before it. Yes, nostalgia will tell you, Ocarina of Time, Majora's Mask, everyone wants to sit there and say that these games were comparatively better. But to me, I feel like The Wind Waker definitely held the test of time. There's minuscule things wrong with this game, and people love to pick and hate for the most marginal tiny reasons ever. And I'm going to break that down for you, just to get to a good understanding of what this game is. First off here, you have to understand, the story of this game literally is just some kid. Like, you're just a kid on an island. You live there with your grandma and your sister, and all of a sudden you're getting thrown into conflict because a big scary bird shows up being chased by pirates. And just... you literally have to go learn how to use a sword. It's not like you pick up a sword, you immediately know everything, you know what to do, all your movements, everything such. He's just a kid. He learns everything. And the fact that you actually have to go to an older teacher and actually learn swordplay is such an interesting concept for this time. You're just some kid on a small island learning your way around the world, and it's very just different. I love it so much. And now another thing about these pirates, because when you hear the term pirate, your first thought's like, oh no, pirates, that's probably bad and scary. No, like, the pirates are some of the nicest people you meet in this game. And it's kind of funny that all the pirates are actually just really nice, unique characters. They're all very friendly, they're all great for conversations, they all have like unique things to them. They're just very well-made written characters. They're not obviously overly well-written characters, but for first meetings of these people, and they're just like tiny little bouts of background you get about these characters, it's very well done of how, hey, here is your air quotes allied friendly people throughout the story. Even though you don't interact with them all the time, they'll still be there for big pinnacle parts of the game. And I love that. I love that they made these people off just to be fun side characters that being both there for comical, funny moments, but also very serious moments for this game's story. And that is a very well way to do this. Now then, let's get into adventuring around in this wonderful world of we're on an ocean living on an island. So clearly we have a boat to get around on, and that is the King of Red Lions, who is, may I mention here, my absolute favorite character from this game. And it's not even for like things that, oh hey, it's a boat, like what's unique, different about that? No, like when you first meet him, your interaction with him is, oh hey, this is kind of awkward, but I don't have a sail, can you go get a sail for me? And he's a sentient boat, and you just kind of sit there and realize this feel bad of, oh hey, it's a boat that can't sail on the ocean. That's kind of awkward. So you have to go explore around, go find a salesman, go buy a sail, and then you can go sail around in your boat, friend, and it's great. And clearly, it's just a good fun time. Not to mention the fact, I absolutely love what they did with the sounds just coming from him. Not only did his voice actor do an amazing job for him, he sounds absolutely perfect, but I love the fact that, like, if you're just sitting in the boat, you can hear the creaking and cracking of an old elderly boat creaking in the ocean. Like, it's not like they're trying to pass it off as a brand new tip-top shaped boat that has no issues with it. It's like, no, he sounds old, he sounds creaky, and I love that. It's an idea for sound design that's just perfect, and I'm ranting about a boat, and that's hilarious. Okay, let's get into this. So, the whole concept of this game is you go from dungeon to dungeon, you follow along the story, which the King of Red Lion will tell you exactly what you need to do. It's obviously, there's the big bad guy, gotta go find yourself all the things you need, go to all the dungeons, beat all the scary bosses, get all the weapons you need to go beat the big scary bad. Simple, straightforward. But the travel and execution about this is amazing. Not only do you start off with your boat friend, and you begin to go to your first island, which is Dragon Roost Island, as your first boss location. But getting there, you're sailing along, and you can stop at all these small little islands in each little area, which I may point out here. This game, how it does its map, is a tile format, and each tile has an island on it. So when you're playing this game, you can sit there and look and see that I need to go to each one of these locations. Okay, easy peasy, let's go do that. It's simple, it's straightforward, it's very easy to understand. Every single island and location is unique and different, and I just love that. You travel around, you get to your locations, you do your things, and not to mention the fact, not only is the ocean filled with mobs that are absolutely can just cause you problems like warships and octoroks and even big octos. This world is so filled with enemies that it's just surprising. You got Bokobobobs and Bokoblins. You got Choo-Choos of all kind of color varieties, which I may recommend, and here this is very important if you're playing for the game for the first time. If you see Choo-Choos that are blue, and I might recommend here that you take that thing out because there's only 23 in the game, and they're kind of rare and very annoying to find. 10 out of 10, do recommend to go and find those. Okay. But even with that, it's fun, it's unique. There's just a different variety. You got Peahats, you have Rats, you got Armos, you got Dark Knights, you got Megtails, you got Poe, you have Redeads that returned from Ocarina of Time and other Zelda games, which, the screaming, yes, the screaming is still a big thing, and, Nightmare Fuel. Nightmare Fuel for days. Don't play this game in the middle of the night alone and have your first interaction with the Redeads, because you will scream. I love it. I love the variety of enemies. I love how very well this game does to keep itself just entertaining and fun. And with that, let's segue into the items. Now, the items in this game, whoever on the dev team that decided they needed such a variety of items they could be used in such unique ways, I applaud this person. I am so grateful. Not only is your first item you get in this game the telescope, which you get from your sister, which is a telescope, so what do you do with that? Like, yeah, you're out in the ocean, yeah, you can go scope around and see things, but as you play for the game, you run into interactions where people are telling you, like, hey, you need to use your telescope to use this, and do that, and it's just fun and unique that even an item that you get at the very beginning of the game, they have you use throughout the entire game. Along with, the game's namesake, the Wind Waker, which is obviously your ocarina of this time period, which you use in a 6/4, 4/4, and a 3/4 format of when you're playing your songs. And I love that. It's simple, it's straightforward, it's not horribly confusing. There's not a whole lot of songs you need to learn in the game, and in your menu screen, they just tell you exactly what they are, so you're never stuck with the idea of being like, hey, what's this song that I had to use like 2 hours ago that I only had to play once? You can just check and it's right there. Easy knowledge, easy information, nothing's horribly confusing. It's straightforward. I love that. Even items you get into later in game, like the grappling hook, which might be my favorite item in Zelda games ever, because not only can you use this for all kinds of unique shenanigans and exploring around, but it's also a great weapon to use in combat against enemies of any variety. It's great. I love it. 10 out of 10. Obviously, you can get the Tingle Tuner, which if you have Game Boy Advance, you can play with your friends. And you can just bring them into your world and have help. Obviously, there's weapons like the boomerangs and the bow and arrows. Stuff like that. Even like the Deco Leaf that lets you just fly around in wind currents, which is super helpful. Obviously, you have things like bombs, which also, let me segue back into this. The bomb and the grappling hook can be used on your boat so that you can either use the grappling hook to reach underwater to grab treasure chests, to get yourself special items and stuff like that. And there's these locations all over the ocean, like all over the place, and you will find treasure charts for the game that will give you little spot locations where you find them. So if you unlock a certain location and get it unlocked on your map, you can sit there and look and see, hey, look, I can use my grappling hook right there. Obviously, you can use your bombs, you turn your boat into having a giant cannon, and you can shoot things with your giant cannon, which is just comical. I don't know why they chose it to be like that, but I love it. Being able to shoot cannons from your boat is hilarious to sink other boats or scary octopus monsters or even shoot down walls. It's great. I love it. It's simple, it's straightforward, it's just fun. And now, just to bring this all together, one of the most unique items in this game is the Picto Box, and later on the Picto Box Deluxe, which this thing you can use to take photos. And may I just mention here, this is one of the longest side quest lines in games I've ever seen, and I absolutely love this. There's a side quest you can do that requires you to take pictures of literally every unique mob in the game, and that includes not only bosses, but every unique version of something you can come across the ocean, which is a whole lot of variants in different forms. It's so much fun, especially after you've beaten your game the first time through, and you just go through the game again and just like, I'm gonna go on a photo adventure and complete all that. It's just fun. I 10 out of 10 do recommend. If you picked up the Picto Box, have a good time. Take some great photos, show them off to your friends, post them around, like, do what you want with them. And it's a fun time. The Picto Box is such a good, fun way to do this, and especially for the early photo mechanics of a game in 2002, it's really well done. They did a smart idea of this. Now, let's just get into the pros and cons before we wrap this all up with my rating. Pros. First off here, let me establish that there is 10 unique bosses in this game, and they are all great. They are all fun. They're all very well-run, structured bosses. I have no complaint about any of these bosses, which is comical in my mind. I don't think I've ever played a game where I've never had an issue with any boss. They're all unique, they're all fun, they all play very differently and very well, but you can also kind of do what you want with them. You're not really forced to just play how the game wants you to play. Yeah, certain bosses require you to do certain things to get them to a point where you can actually cause damage to them, but even then, your damage can be based however you want. If you want to use your sword, like you can. If you want to throw a bomb or shoot them with a bow, or throw a grappling hook at them, you do what you want. You can have a fun time with it. And I love that concept. I love that you can just kind of do what you want with the game, and you're not forced to play what the game wants you to play. Which brings me into another pro. This game has great items, like really well done great items. I love the item variety of this game. I love how the items look in your inventory. I love that it's even small little things here, like all your bottles whatever's inside of them, they obviously display differently for whatever liquids are in them. If you have a fairy in the bottle, the fairy looks sad. If you have a pear in your inventory, the pear is sweating because the pear will get eaten by a bird. Like, it's just the small things here that I love. This game has an absolutely amazing story to it. It's very straightforward, it's understanding, it's not super overly confusing, but there's a lot of structures and layers to it that if you sit down, you understand so much about this world, and that's something I love. The music is perfect. Obviously, this is a Zelda game, so the music's gonna be very well done, but the music is just fantastic. The scores are all great. All the music in all the unique dungeons, the bosses around the world, all your locations, all the music's great, and it's all iconic. When you've played through this game multiple times, you get to the point where you just remember this music and you're like, oh, hey, I remember that. It just brings you a level of joy. I love that. The sounds in this game, I just... Mwah. Perfecto. Even my comment before about how the red lion makes creaking sounds in the ocean, I love that. I love like the little sounds for the world. I love when you're walking through grass and how it sounds. I love that if you're just sitting there silently, Link will stretch and make sounds and just you can hear him breathing, and it's so well done. It's so perfectly executed. You can hear the ocean's waves slap against the side of an island when you're sitting on the shore edge. Everything about this is just perfect. The sound is so well done. I have no complaints with the sound. The world is beautiful. It's open. It's vast. Everything's unique. Everything's different. The characters in this make the world fun and enjoyable. I don't have complaints about it. The world is just very vastly different and unique from each location to location. All your dungeons never feel the same. They never feel repetitive. Everything you do in this game, it just feels like a new experience over and over and over again. You never feel like you're backtracking to fight just the same enemies over and over again. And yeah, you can go to locations where you face the same stuff over and over again, but that's up to you to make that decision. If you want to play through the game in a most linear, fun, unique format, just keep going, do that. That's up to you. Have fun with it. And finally, the map. I just love how they decided this map design of using tiles as each individual island point. Each one of those tiles is different. Each location you go to is just a different spot on the map. And yeah, that's simple and straightforward. It's a map, but it's also, the map is so well thought out that you don't really need to overcomplicate it. It gets to the point where you understand, like, okay, this location is at this tile here, and you can go over and be like, oh, hey, look, that's the name of the location you need to go to. It's simple, it's straightforward, it's not overcomplicated, and they don't make filling out the map pieces a pain. It's some of the easiest work you can do in the game. Now then, let's get into the cons. And the con for this game, and it has one, and I'm just simply put this forward, this game has one con. And this con is kind of ironic, because for me, it's a pro, but for most people, it's a negative. And it's simply the sailing. People hate sailing in this game. People think it's very slow, it's very tedious, it's not fun. People hate that you have to actually go out of your way to change the direction of the wind, but also, that's part of the immersion. I love that. It's something that you just have to go into. Yeah, you have to get on your boat and you sell in location. And until you learn the ability to control the wind, you can't change how the wind goes, so you can't just sell in directions you want. And yeah, it is slow, but that's also part of the immersion. Like, it's not like I'm just gonna fast travel to the location and immediately know where I'm going. Like, no, you go there and you interact with the ocean. It's not like the ocean's empty. There's enemies there. There's stuff to do. There's interactions. You can run into people like diving in the water. You just go through the ocean and you have all these things to do and all these things to see. I don't see how sailing is a complaint. Yeah, it's slow if you want to go through the game super fast, but that breaks the immersion. It's a game where you're boating around in the ocean trying to save the world. Like, what what were you expecting? I don't see how sailing is really a con, but I'm putting it here because if it feels like a con to you, then I see where you're coming from. But for me, that doesn't affect the rating. And now finally, let's get into the rating. For me, Legend of Zelda The Wind Waker is an easy 10 out of 10 fins. It is a perfect game. There's nothing in my mind wrong with this game. I could play this game over and over again. I could never find anything wrong with it. It's such a fun, unique adventure. I think everyone, especially if you're a fan of the Legend of Zelda series, you need to sit down, put the time in this game, fully beat it, and just let it just immerse you in the experience. This game's fun, it's great, it's very well done. I have no actual formal complaints in this game. I think it's a perfect experience, and I think it's a perfect way to do a Zelda game, through and through. It took a long time for just to figure out what exactly and how I wanted to do this review. I wasn't fully sure on how the format, I wasn't sure on how I wanted to pace this, how I wanted to actually do these reviews going forwards. I'm not fully sure. And so we're here, this is something new, this is something different. I figure if I'm going to be doing my full challenge of not only collecting every GameCube game ever made, but beating every single GameCube game ever made while streaming, so the footage is all live, everyone can see me do this, I might as well review every single game I'm playing through. Yes, these reviews are sometimes going to be very straightforward, they're going to be very simple. I'm not really sure what to expect going forward with a ton of these reviews. Are the reviews going to be this positive? Who knows? But I'm here for a fun adventure, and if you like that idea and you want to come along and see, check me out at Sir Will Gaming on twitch.tv. All my links will be in descriptions, comments down below, and I'll make this super straightforward and simple for you guys, don't worry. And thank you. Just thank you. If you made it to the end of the video, I'm so grateful. You guys are amazing. And until next time, love you friends. Goodbye.